And it's a story about biking. As a kid, I used to love to ride a bike. How many of you loved to ride a bike as a kid? Right? It's that, and now, yeah, I do it too. It's great, right? The wind in your hair and the freedom you experience as a child, suddenly you can go places that you couldn't go before when you learn how to ride a bike. It's absolutely a wonderful experience. So I don't know why, but I had a dream of being a professional stunt bicyclist. I don't even know what that is, but that's what when I had first learned how to ride my bike, that's what I wanted to do. And we had this park by our house, and I would go to the park and I would do all these weird, crazy stunts. And so one Saturday morning I got up and I said, okay, here I go, I'm going to the park. And I went to the park, and there was this beautiful hill that I could do all these stunts down and really propel down the hill, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I started down the hill, and I decided that particular morning I wanted to do something different. And so I laid down on my bike. I put the seat of my bike in my stomach, and my feet were projected off the back tire, okay? So it's further than the back tire. And it really changed my center of gravity, I have to say. Had to adjust to that, had to get my balance again, and I got my balance again. And about 3/4 of the way down the hill, I realized this may not have been a good idea. And I guess that's because of the cross traffic that was at the bottom of the hill that was going by. So I heard the screech of the tires as I saw the grill of the big blue truck. And I passed by it, thankfully, realizing in that 1 or 2 seconds that I wasn't hit by the truck. And I was so excited that I wasn't hit by the truck that I didn't really pay attention to what was going to happen next. So I slammed into the curb and did a couple of somersaults over my handlebars and landed on my back on the park grass. And as I went around and thought about what had happened and tried to do kind of an assessment of my body, like what's broken, what isn't attached anymore, I realized that I had a pretty deep cut in my leg, and it was probably from that rock that was just sitting a few feet away. And I started moving around, and I started looking, and I realized I was going to be pretty much okay. I was going to be bruised, and I had that cut, but I was going to be all right. And so I got up to see what was going on with my bike. My bicycle front tire looked like a kidney bean, okay? It had a bend in the rim that was obviously when it hit, the impact from the little sidewalk area. It just caused a great deal of damage to my bike. So I walked over to it, realizing that I'm going to have to tell my dad. And that was pretty scary to me. But I walked home that block. It was a long block that day. And I walked home that block with my kind of beat up body and my bruised pride. And I got to the garage, and I laid my bike down, and I went inside. And my dad was sitting there drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. And when I opened the door, he saw the scrapes and the blood. And obviously, that's not a normal way that I appeared. And so he put his paper down, and he looked at me, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I think he saw the tears welling up in my eyes, and I said, "Dad, I made a mistake." So I explained to him what I did, as his eyes got rather large when I said, "So I laid down on my bike, Dad," and then that didn't go over very well. And Dad came over and he put his arm around me, and he said, "I don't care about the bike, as long as you're okay." And my dad created that safe environment for me. He created the environment where I could bring him mistakes, and I could talk to him, and I could say, "Dad, this is a mistake that I made. Here's what I'm going to do to fix it, but I need your help to get the bike to the bike shop." And I think as employers, that's what we have to do, right? We have to create an environment where the employees may be nervous about bringing you information or bringing us things that they did wrong, but they need to feel comfortable doing it anyway. They need to feel that we have created that environment that provides that safety zone for them. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is really how to enjoy your ride on your management bicycle. All right, we're going to visit about all of those things.